Hello and welcome to the BuiltOnAir podcast. BuiltOnAir is a regular podcast where we talk with everyday people and learn about the amazing things they are doing with Airtable. Today's podcast is sponsored by OpenSide, the leading solutions provider for Airtable customers. Check out openside.com to learn more about their products and services that can take your Airtable usage to the next level. Use promo code BuiltOnAir to receive $20 towards any product purchase. In this episode, we travel to Germany to chat with Tobi Troendle, strategy consultant and business developer. Having worked for both international corporations and local startups, Tobi is well equipped toward helping entrepreneurs achieve their goals. After discovering Airtable, Tobi wanted to spread the word across Europe and help others to harness the power that it can provide. So he set to work and created the Airtable Academy, a comprehensive online course that teaches users the ins and outs of Airtable, plus how to use Zapier to automate workflows. Check out the show notes for a special discount link for BuiltOnAir listeners. Today, Tobi shares with us a creative and easy way to pull Excel files out of Airtable using an app called Parabola. As Tobi demonstrates, Parabola allows you to pull all of the data from a table at once and manipulate your fields so that only the columns you want remain. You can even reorder the columns before exporting. His workflow includes an added bonus for European users, European currency formatting.
All right. So as I was asked what I could do and show here in this podcast, I thought I bring the one case with me I talked about earlier, because in my company, like I said, it's a European company, so we have this problem with commas and dots all the time, and probably there are some more people from Europe out there who need to change this stuff or need to change other stuff in the table. And also another problem that I was facing a lot of times is how to bring Airtable, how to do automatic exports from Airtable to Microsoft Excel. That people who aren't working with Airtable yet still can have the data in their usual format, and I can still administrate all the data in Airtable. And so that's the use case I thought I'd show today. And so we can jump right in here into this Airtable base. And I just took one of the example Airtable bases you can get from the template section. And like you can see here, it's about different products, like it's in my company as well. And down there, you also have the prices. You can also go into the table section here. And there you can see all the content in there. And in my company, it really looks the same way for our products, that we have structured it that way and have all the options there, if it's in stock or not, and then also the descriptions in there, and also some other stuff. But the challenge I'm facing a lot is then that I have my sales reps asking me, okay, so I need to have a product catalog in Excel with all the prices in there, that I can send that to a customer and that he can order from it. And so that's what I tried to automate in Airtable. That I get an Excel list out of it with changed decimal separators, that I have the commas here. So in order to do that, I use a second tool, which is really great, and I believe it's also quite a young startup. It's called Parabola, and they have quite an exciting tool where you can automate different workflows. It can do really a lot, and the great thing is it has an integration with Airtable as well. So if I go in here, you can sign up for free first, and you can run workflows manually also for free. And then if you want to automate it, then they start pricing you. But I think it's really worth it, or at least the manual function is really great already. And then if you want to use it regularly in your company, then of course it's totally worth paying. Okay, so if we jump right here into Parabola, then you can already see that we first need to start with a source where we bring in our data from. And you can see here that Airtable is already there. So I'll take it onto my screen. And then I have it here, and I can start loading data from Airtable into Parabola, and therefore we use the Airtable API again. So I just double click it once to swap our video window a little bit around here. And of course, I first need to authorize Airtable and Parabola to work together. And I need the API key, and I'll just look it up. And I will change it after the session. No need to try. Okay, so now it's loading. And now I hooked up Airtable to Parabola, and what else we need is the base ID, and you get that from the Airtable API section, and I believe there was a link in there. Yes, so that's the Airtable API section where you can find all the APIs for your bases, and it's all linked there in Parabola that you can easily get there. And here is your Airtable ID that you need once to hook it up. Mm-hmm. And so I take this ID, paste it in here, and then it also asks us about the table name once. And let's see, table name is furniture in that case. So I'll type that in, and then I can show the updated results. And you can now see that it's loading. And now you get here all the content from your Airtable base. The only thing that doesn't work at the moment is reference data that you load in Parabola from linked tables in Airtable. Mm-hmm. But you can always make a copy in Airtable just with a simple formula then, and then you can also use that. And in my case, it doesn't matter now because we only want the product name, which we have here. And we need the price, which was also somewhere gross sales back there. Oh yeah, here was the price. So that's the only columns I need. And so now I have it in here from my Airtable base, and now I can do all kinds of transforms on my data within Parabola, and that's also a really neat feature. So at first, for example, I want to let's see, I only want to have the columns with product name and price. So I'll add the column filter to filter out all the other columns. And I once have to tell this filter to take the data from Airtable, and therefore you can easily link it with this graphical interface and hook it up here. And now we can already see we have the data Airtable loaded in here, and now I can select columns I want to keep or I want to remove. And in this case, I want to keep the price column, and I want to keep the name column here. And that's all I will need for my price list. So now I can see if it works and update the result. And I can already see, okay, I've got it. And I can go on working on it. So I'll close that. And another thing that wasn't great in here is that I had the price in front of the name. And of course, I don't want to have it. And I want to have the name in the front, of course. So therefore, I will go on and swap the columns. And I can also do that here with a column reorder, which is here. And I'll put that on, and it's really like plug and play in here. So I'll add that up, and then you can easily change the order of the different columns. So I'll update that once, and now we should be able to see it. Yes, and so now I have it in the right order, and the only thing I have to do now is the magical step to change the commas, and that works with a simple find and replace function in here. So I can add that here, and again take the data I already have in here, and then I can add some rules here. So now I will select all the commas that are in there already, and I'll replace them by a slash first, and then I will change all the points to commas, and in the end I will then change all the slashes back into Yes. So that's the way how it should work. And by the way, if that looks super smart now, I have to admit it wasn't me who found that out. But Parabola also has a really great chat function, and they help you with a lot of stuff there. So that's also a good thing to use then. And now you can see that it already changed all the decimals there. And now the only thing I still want to do is to go on and export it to Excel. But unfortunately, you cannot do that right from Parabola. And so I had to find a different step for that. And the way it works is that you start exporting it to Google Sheets first. So I'll add that and hook it up here. And now I bring all the data over there to Google Sheets. Of course, I also need to authorize it first. And so I will select my Google account here and link it. And okay, then I will say create a new file. And then you can also name the file if you would like to do that. And I will just call it price list now. And see if it works. Loads for a second, and that looks good. Okay, and now we can let our workflow run, and therefore we have to publish it here, and we will let it run now for one time. So I click run, and now you can see in here how it performs all the actions step by step, and it tells me it succeeded. And I already opened my Google Drive in here, and you can see over here we have our price list now within the Google Sheet, and we have all the data like we wanted to have it here with the commas in it as well. The cool thing is you can now start also customizing your Google Sheet, and for example having different colors or font sizes and stuff like that. And because you update it all the time, it will stay that way. So you only have to do that once. But as I said before, I wanted to export it to Excel. And now to do that, I then use Zapier, the second great tool I mentioned already. And I opened it already up, and I will just create a new Zap, and therefore use my Google Drive account. So I have to choose the trigger event, and I will do that when I have a new file in Google Drive. You can then also do it just in one folder, which probably makes more sense than if you want to go deeper into it. So I continue here, and we'll see. Now I have to hook up my Google Drive here, load it, okay. And now I can take my file in here. So, okay. Oh yeah, my Google Drive, that's that. And if we go on, we can test it now if it really works and brings it in. That looks great. Okay, we got that. And I think I'll quickly jump back from my seat here to to put on the light, because it's getting really dark in Germany. All right, now I'm back, and now you should also be able to see me again.
It's much better.
Great. Okay, so what have we done? We connected it to connected Google Drive, and now we want to export to Box. And I also found that out in the community that you can export from Google Drive to Box, and then that creates an Excel file, which is quite cool. So you just upload the file from Google Drive as soon as there's a new one to Box. And you also have to hook up your Box account again. So I'll do that. And then you can customize the upload file, but you don't have to do a lot here. Just select a file from Google, and you can give a name if you want to, but I think we won't need it here. And let's click continue. Okay, so that looks good. And these cryptic things always mean that Google has found something. So we will test it and continue there. and that looks good. Now we can go into our Box account, which I already have open here. And I believe it also works with Dropbox if you're using that. But otherwise, Box is really great to use there. And yeah, now we can see it already that it worked and that it got pushed from my drive to Box here. And now I can share this Box link with other people in my company, for example, and in the end they will just click the link, and then they can download the file here. And if I once again swap our video file there over, then you can see that I get a price list Excel file down here. And so okay, that's privacy. No, I don't want to have that now. Okay, so now it opens up, and here we have our list there with all the commas in there. Yeah, so that's probably quite a specific use case you will mostly need in Europe. But after I found out how it worked, I was really glad that even if it involves a lot of steps, that you can still do it. And the cool thing is then Parabola is you can automate that it runs, for example, every night. And then Zapier, of course, can also be automated to run all the time when there is a new file pushed from Parabola. And so you have a new Excel file there every day, and can give that to all the users who prefer to work with Excel instead of Airtable, for example. Yeah, so that's mainly the case I wanted to share today. But as we talked before about the Airtable Udemy course I have, I just want to show that briefly to you. So that's the Airtable Academy I created, and yeah, I will show you a lot more cases how you can work with Airtable, learn Airtable, and then also in the second step work with Zapier to get it up and running. And yeah, on Udemy courses usually are a bit pricey, but the cool thing is there are a lot of discount campaigns they do on there. And also, if we can do that and we'll manage it, then we will include a discount link for all of you podcast listeners here in the podcast as well. That it will be only a couple of bucks for you then. So yes, that's basically the case I wanted to show you today here. Do you have any questions about it? I hope it wasn't too fast to show all of it because it involves so many steps.
No, I think you did a great job, and that is, I'm very impressed by that program Parabola. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome, and I believe it's also quite new. And these guys just started, and you can also see it if you if I go back to draft ones. They include new features here each week, and you can see it here with the little beta labels they have on it. And every second week there are a lot of new betas on it, and there you can really bring your data together from a lot of different sources, and yeah, then automate them in all different kinds. And it's a tool like Airtable. It's really easy to use, and really everybody can use it without knowing anything about programming. And that's what I love about it, and brings it for me to the same league where Airtable is as well.
Absolutely. It's very straightforward, and the interface reminds me of Integromat, but it looks a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot easier than Integromat.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, they were really good with their intention, but got lost somewhere on the way. And this one is still neat and clean, and I really hope they will keep it also if the tool matures and they add more functionality to it over time. Yes.
Absolutely. I love that you can pull in the entire table and just modify that data like that. That's something I've never been able to do easily.
Yes, yes, and it's awesome. It also has a great functionality to merge data from different tables, for example,
Wow.
and also do lookups and stuff like that. And also a lot of people who are working with a Smartsheet, which is the other big tool like Airtable, I believe. With that, you can even bring together Airtable and Smartsheet and combine data. And you can also push data back to Airtable in the end. So technically that also solves the problem that you can't link bases together at the moment in Airtable, because you could also do that through Parabola. And therefore I really love it. And I mean, you have so much workspace here. You can include so many steps in there. And what I did here was probably not even worth using their tool, because they have a lot of samples in there. To see if I can find one quickly. But there they really show you how to use their tool, and they build really complex automation workflows to automate even the whole email campaigns and stuff. Well, that was the forum. That was not it. Let's try it once again. But I think my internet could. There it is. Oh yeah, here are some examples. Here you can see how they, for example, use Webflow CMS, where they then have really a lot of steps in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's really cool because it's so straightforward, and you can really do it step by step and always look, okay, that step works and that one works. And then you can just go on with the next one. And therefore, even if they get such a complex monster out of it in the end, it's really easy to build it up. So that's definitely a tool I can recommend to check out as well, besides Airtable.
I will absolutely be checking that out. That looks like a really great tool.
Yeah, definitely is.
Well, thank you. I think it's very straightforward. And I mean, you said it had a lot of steps, but you really only have to do those steps once and then it's done and you can just
Sure, yes. Yeah. And that's a cool thing. I really like these automations. If you set something up and it works in the end, I think that's always a great feeling then. And with Parabola, you can really easily do that, and then also bring it together with Airtable, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's very impressive. I'm definitely gonna write that one down.
Great. Yeah, I believe they can also use a lot more users, and hopefully they should have them, because I really love it and I want to go on using it.
Absolutely. Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today, Tobi.
Thank you so much for having me here. I really love your podcast, and it's really great each week to have the new episode there. And I'm always looking forward to it, and I'm already excited for all the other great episodes you will bring out, and all the great people you always find to talk about their Airtable use cases. And I think that's really astonishing how many people you already found who are using Airtable in some ways in their companies, and you can always learn something from that, I think.
It's crazy, right? That's definitely one thing I love about BuiltOnAir and Airtable as a whole, is that every person has a different story and they're all in different industries, and you can learn so much about just different people and different jobs, and it's wonderful.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes. No, it's great. And thank you so much. I've really enjoyed talking with you today.
Thank you.
Of course.